Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about Creed Viking, so stay tuned for that. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Now, I decided to do this series recently because I felt like it was something that would be interesting to do. I really want to talk about this fragrance, and I often think about it as kind of a signature scent. So I decided to do it. This is going to be like an occasional series that I do that is a signature scent series where I talk about a fragrance, tell you what it's about, and tell you why I do or don't think it would be a good signature scent and what kind of person I think ultimately it would suit as a signature scent. Now, I've often talked about Creed Viking, which is funny because, you know, it's probably the only Creed that I really like. I also like Arolfa. Not a big Creed fan, but I do often talk about this as a signature scent, or one that I could see having as a signature scent for me. So, I'm going to talk about first the fragrance, the opening, the dry down, what I get from that, the performance, and then I'm going to talk about it in the context of a signature scent. Now, this fragrance opens up quite in your face with the spiciness. So it does have a lot of, I believe, pink pepper, and it's very spicy in the opening. And I think this is kind of what gives people this Old Spice impression, although to me, this doesn't smell like Old Spice at all. This is definitely a unique fragrance. It does have some classic DNA to it. It does kind of have a modern take on something more traditional, but it is its own thing for sure. Now it has this nice spice in it. Something in it also gives it a slightly watery vibe, which is actually kind of nice because it contrasts that very spicy nature of that pink pepper. There's also mint in this, which again contrasts that spiciness and goes and works with that sort of kind of watery vibe that it has and adds a kind of icy coolness. Now, I will say that occasionally and sometimes the mintiness does come off a little bit mentholated. Now, I know some people really don't like that. I don't mind this, so this isn't really like a spearmint, which I often get from, say, Arolfa, or the kind of mint that you find in Sedley. This is definitely a different kind of mint. It's a very prominent mint. It's a little bit more like the mint from Crypto Mint, although it's not sweet. So it has that crispness and it has that minty vibe to it. And unlike Crypto Mint, this doesn't have that chocolatey sort of backbone. This has a spicy, somewhat watery vibe to it that goes along with that mint. Now, that is the opening, and it is quite aggressive, I find. It's quite in your face, and I know that puts some people off, but the aggressive opening is something I actually like about this. It's a bit of a kick in the face. And for me, it's a pleasant one because I do really like that minty, spicy vibe that it has going for it. And as this one dries down, that spiciness does tone down, but it does maintain a lot of it. And it still has a little bit of mintiness, and that watery vibe is still kind of there. What really starts to work its way out in the mid and in the dry down is a little bit more sweetness. And there is a rose in this. Now, one of the things I like about this is that it's rosed on in a very nice masculine fragrance, and that I think is hard to do. I think it's hard to have something that is decidedly masculine, although I will be honest with you, I'm not somebody that sees a lot of gender in fragrance. Now, there are certain fragrances that I will say this is more masculine, this is more feminine, or I know at least from a traditional perspective it's going to be seen as more masculine to a lot of people, and so that gives me that vibe. Okay, so it does kind of certainly portray that, and I find, at least for me, the one thing that I do find a little more feminine is heavy florals. Now, the rose is not super prominent. It adds a nice kind of sweet extra dimension, very smooth and very enjoyable rose, actually. So I do like that mid and that dry down. So this is one of those fragrances that opens up very punchy, very in your face, tones down, dials it back a bit, keeps a lot of the heart, a lot of the body and soul, the backbone of what makes it, punchy, but it does take it down a notch as it dries down, and you also get added dimensions, sweetness, a little bit of rose comes out, and it really sort of blossoms into this very enjoyable, and I might even say a little bit of a sensual fragrance is kind of what that rose adds. So very nice from the beginning to the dry down. Now, as I've mentioned whenever I talk about this is one that got a lot of hate in the community. Even a note from the brand, this is the first major men's release from Scents Aventus, and it looks a lot like Aventus. The bottle is similar. It has the same sort of wrapping design, all that kind of stuff. And so people really were expecting, something maybe Aventus-y or something that would be the Aventus killer. And for me, I like this more than Aventus. But a lot of people, it was not what they wanted or what they were expecting when it first was released. And I'm seeing a lot more people start to warm up to it. I think now that the expectations are gone, people can start to see this fragrance for what it is. And for me, it is one of those things that can be definitely a signature scent. Now, I will talk a little bit about the performance before I get to the signature scent discussion. But this one does perform well. I know some creeds really don't. Like for me, Arolfa is horrific. But this one does perform well. I get around that 8-hour mark. It's quite aggressive. And it projects quite well for the first 2-3 hours easily. Now, it doesn't sit down to a skin scent after that, but it does tone down a lot. It does sit a little closer to the skin, but it still has a nice sillage. But definitely getting around that 8-hour mark, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But the performance is there for me. And I think, if you can get this one on a discounter or you can get a good price on this one, that it is definitely worth it. I would not pay the retail price. It's quite preposterous. As I have said many times before, if you have a Costco membership in the United States, often they do get Creed fragrances and they can be very inexpensive. So I got this for $160, which is, I think, a very good price for the fragrance. It's way less than half price. So fantastic deal there. Now, in terms of it being a signature scent, why I think it is a signature scent worthy. One, it's quite versatile. So this is one that I feel you could wear year round. A little bit harder on the high heat, depending on where you're living. But it is one that definitely has that potency that it could be in the winter. Could be one in the winter. But there is a freshness about it that makes it also wearable in the spring and in the summer. Occasions as well. This is one that I can see wearing to a lot of different occasions. It has some luxurious quality. It has the quality there. You would expect that or hope for that from a Creed fragrance, and it does deliver in this respect. And so this is one where I think absolutely you can wear to formal events. You can wear it to work, but you can also wear it more casually. I can easily throw a t-shirt on and wear this one, no problem. But I can also see putting a suit on and then putting this one on because it does have a certain kind of richness and quality to it. It also has a certain degree to which it projects a certain level of confidence, especially with that aggressive opening. I think it does come off as something a little bit more, I guess, masculine in that regards. And the type of person that I really think this fragrance suits more is somebody in their middle age or above. This isn't really a teenager's fragrance or like, your early 20s or like a clubbing fragrance, that kind of thing. And so if that's the kind of person you are, you like to go party or whatever, this probably isn't really for you. This seems more like a signature scent for somebody who has their, they have their shit together, they know what they want, they're going out there, they're getting it, and this is, I think, what does it. The big thing that I think gives off that impression, again, the aggressive opening is quite commanding, but also has a very nice, luxurious dry down. So those things together, I think it makes it to be a fantastic signature scent. So for me, I think this is a great one you could easily have as a daily driver, or if you only wanted a couple of fragrances and you wanted something that you wear a lot more frequently, this could easily be that. I think it just has the versatility. It has a certain standout quality, and I think that's a big thing that I personally would look for in a signature scent. Certainly you can wear something, very easy to wear, something very generic that's not going to offend anyone. It's very versatile, but it also doesn't make any kind of statement. It doesn't say anything about the kind of person that you are, or maybe in some way it does, and that you're the kind of person that doesn't want to offend anybody or whatever. But this one, I think it makes a strong statement about the kind of person you are, and I think that's what you should look for in a signature scent. Something that represents a piece of who you are. And guys, that's it. I think, for those of you who haven't checked this one out, it's worth checking out, getting your nose on it. I know a lot of people have given it hate. A lot of people have come to love this one, and it is one that I too also enjoy. I think ultimately it's also a great fall scent, good for the spring as well, but definitely a fantastic fall fragrance with the crispiness, the freshness, but also that spiciness. Really is good for the transitional weather, so another good season to wear this, but again, I do think it can be worn all year round. Anyways, guys, I'm going to cut the video there. Do you guys have a signature scent? Which fragrance would it be? Have you tried Viking? Do you like it? Do you decide to give it a second chance if you didn't like it? Because I know a lot of people did, and they started enjoying this one quite a bit. This is one I had no expectations going to, so I enjoyed it right from the beginning. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.